Have you ever considered scorecard marketing, a great way to add value to your audience while generating targeted leads? And guess what? You can harness the power of content repurposing to develop your scorecard and make the most of it. Listen on to find out more, including insider info on how we're doing this at Content 10x. You're listening to the Content 10x podcast, where it's all about content repurposing. I'm Amy Woods, and I'm here to help you maximize your content and find smart ways to get your message in front of more of the right people, whilst also saving time. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the Content 10x podcast. I'm your host, Amy Woods, the founder of Content 10x, and I'm delighted that you've joined me in today's episode. Now, the Content 10x podcast is all about repurposing content and ways that we can get the maximum value from the content that we create. Now, I've got a really interesting episode lined up for you today that I'm sure you'll get a lot of value from. This episode is about scorecard marketing, and you're going to discover why I really believe a scorecard is a valuable marketing tool, how you can repurpose content for your scorecard, and the benefits to you and your audience. And spoiler alert, but the benefits for you include even more content and content repurposing opportunities. Now, a few episodes ago, you may have heard me speaking with Daniel Priestley on how to scale your business with content. If not, it's a fantastic, insightful episode. It's proven to be massively popular, so do go and take a listen. It's at content10x.com/249. So that was episode 249 with Daniel Priestley. Daniel is, among a number of other things, the co-founder of Score app, which is a brilliant questionnaire creation app where you can build a quiz and it returns personalized results. In their own words, Score app makes quiz funnel marketing easy, so you can attract relevant warm leads, insightful data, and increase your sales. During our time together, Daniel did a very good job of selling his product to me. Funny story, but before we hit the record button for our discussion for this podcast, for the Content 10x podcast, Daniel asked me if he could show me a demo of Score app. We were talking about Score app and he said, "Can we jump on share screen and I'll show you it?" And I was completely sold to. I think it's the first time that I've brought a guest onto the show who's ended up successfully selling something to me. So well done to Daniel. Now, before I get to the main content for this episode, just to mention, if you want weekly content repurposing tips and guidance, industry updates, inspiring stories, and exclusive news delivered straight to your email inbox, then join hundreds of marketers, business owners, and creators and become a Content 10x insider. Head to content10x.com/newsletter. Okay, so as I was saying, before we started recording that episode, Daniel took me through the Scorecard app, and basically he should include very effective salesperson to his list of accolades because I was sold to. Long story short, I was inspired and I decided that developing a scorecard or quiz for our audience, assessing their content repurposing, presented a great opportunity for us to create something new, something fun and incredibly valuable for both our fantastic audience and for Content 10x as a business, as we're always looking to grow. So do go check it out. If you are listening along whilst in front of a computer or on your phone or on an iPad or whatever, then head to content10x.com/scorecard so you can see what I'm talking about in this episode. Firstly, the scorecard is a great resource for our audience because basically what happens is you're asked to answer 21 quick fire questions that we've devised that take only 2 to 3 minutes to complete. Then you receive a personalised, detailed report back, highlighting potential areas for improvement and providing our tips and advice on how to get there. It's also a great resource for us as a company because it is a way to reach warm leads and find out more about these leads. So it's more than just a typical lead magnet where you only get an email address or a typical inquiry form where you can only ask so much. This extra information from the scorecard will help us to serve our audience better because through it, we can share more personalised, specific content to individuals based on the information they've shared with us, which will hopefully be super helpful to them specifically. We can also learn more about our audience as a whole, helping us to improve our services and offering, and through that, we can also create new content that is really valuable. We'll be able to spot gaps in our content strategy and approach that we can fill, and we'll be able to update content that we've already created as well. Of course, I always have a content repurposing mindset, as I'm sure you're not surprised at all. So to me, it was also an assessment of can we repurpose content for the scorecard, and will there be repurposing opportunities from the scorecard too? And the answer was an overwhelming yes. So we went for it, and in the end, it was no small task. If you speak to anyone in my team, I'm sure they'll agree with me. So at Content 10X, we never do things by halves. So we spent a lot of time getting it ready. One of the big benefits, of course, is that we were able to repurpose some of our content for the scorecard. So there you have it. I'm sure you were waiting for me to squeeze repurposing in. So firstly, we could repurpose some of our content for the scorecard. Now, I hope by sharing this with you about how we created our scorecard, this is inspiring you to think about whether it could be a good approach for you. So how did we do that? So first, we identified great content that we had already and repurposed it into some of the results section and the recommended resources section for those who completed the scorecard. This required a fair amount of refreshing and updating of our content in order to make it even better. And during this process, we also spotted some gaps which we needed to fill with new content. So we did that too, and we created new content. It was a big exercise in repurposing, updating and refreshing content, and then creating new content to close any gaps. Projects like this are always so worthwhile though, because they force you to undertake content reviews and critically review and uplevel what you have. So it's always really worthwhile. And we have plans to continue repurposing. So from the scorecard and the results that we get, we will repurpose our insights into social media content, and we'll create podcast episodes and blog posts where we share insights and things that we're seeing too from the scorecard results. Now, again, if you'd like to take a look at this scorecard that I'm talking about to bring this all to life, then head to content10x.com/scorecard. Ultimately, we see this as a process that's also helping us identify gaps where our audience wants content that we don't have yet, allowing us to create more content that's exactly tailored to our audience's needs. We also have high hopes of producing an annual report as well. So if we gather enough information, then we're looking forward to creating something like the State of Repurposing 2022 report. So do watch this space on that. As I mentioned, I encourage you to think about whether you have enough content to develop a valuable quiz or scorecard for your audience. I'm sure that you do, so have a think and see if this could be something that could be useful for you. And I mentioned this already, but please do go and check out our scorecard. It's at content10x.com/scorecard. It's called the Content 10x Repurposing Effectiveness Scorecard. You'll be able to see what the whole process involves and consider if it could work for you. And of course, I hope you find our scorecard super useful for you too, so it's a win-win. There's 21 quickfire questions, so it really doesn't take longer than a couple of minutes, but the questions will get you thinking about your resources and your systems and processes and other areas of your repurposing. And when you finish the scorecard and you hit submit, you'll get a useful personalised report, which I know you'll find really handy. And yes, please do give us feedback on the whole experience. We'd love to know what you think of the process and the insights. If you embark on something similar, so scorecard marketing and creating your own quiz or scorecard, then I really do recommend checking out ScoreApp. There are other tools available, I'm sure, that are probably really good, but we haven't explored them. We used ScoreApp, and so far it's been really good for us, so do go check that out. And if you need any help with your content repurposing and you'd like a team of experts to take it off your hands, then we can help. We offer end-to-end content repurposing services for your podcast or video content. So go to content10x.com/services to find out more about what we do and how we may be able to help you. Do make sure to follow us on social media and search Content 10x on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can find me, Amy Woods, founder of Content 10x on LinkedIn. And if you connect with me, let me know that you're a listener of the show. All that's left to say with this episode is thank you so much for listening. I hope you found it useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.